My name is Satchel, 33 years old.
Eden.
Taylor, 23 years old.
Jordan.
Landon, I'm 25.
Julia, I am 36.
One financial habit I'm proud of is that I finally started taking taxes out of everything so that I can put some money aside for the end of the year because you just never know what's going to happen.
I always like to keep $1,000 saved just in case of emergency, or if I'm not paid before a bill is due, then I can borrow for myself and be able to pay those bills on time. And then when I do get my check or whatever I'm paid, then that money I took out, I can put back in my savings account. So I'm just really proud of that.
I hate my parents will always be there if I like need to borrow money, and I absolutely hate it. I hate asking for money, taking out any sort of loan, and I think the only time I've ever been in like a credit card situation, like my parents were able to help me and then I paid them back. Just the fact that it scares me to death to not be able to pay my credit card. That doesn't mean, I'm like saving tons of money, but I just feel I can't like function if I don't have money in the bank, at least somewhat to support myself. I think that's healthy in some ways.
Hydrodig, the premier hydrovac and cathodic protection service provider, servicing the western states since 2009. Don't just dig, Hydrodig.
Welcome back to Fort Collins and semifinal one of two semifinal matchups today in the Big Mountain Hockey Conference. Just want to remind everybody at home, the Big Mountain Hockey Conference semifinals are presented by Sagian Financial Services. Before we kick things off here for the third period, I do want to bring up again the Brought to Reality Foundation that honors the life and legacy of Nick Bales. Nick's parents, Will and Maria Bales, turned BTR, which was an apparel brand that Nick created, into a foundation. And through December of 2025, have provided over 2,084 counseling sessions and have contributed over $176,000 to help those who cannot afford those sessions. With over 170 plus student athletes wearing the BTR green ribbon on their helmet, they say with us and everybody here at Price Productions and the Big Mountain Hockey Conference, let's not lose one more individual to mental illness. To learn more about the Brought to Reality Foundation, visit their website at broughttoreality.com. Once again, that is broughttoreality.com. So here we are, third period, DU versus Metro State. Two teams separated by just 10 miles. If you're taking I-25, could be as quick as a 5-minute drive, or if you're from the Denver metropolitan area, you know, it's never going to be a 10-minute drive. But these two teams know each other better than any two in the country. And right now, one of these two is 20 minutes away from punching their ticket to the to the conference championship game tomorrow at the Promenade. Out-of-town scoreboard at the end of one in Boulder. It is all tied up between CU and Wyoming. The winner of this game will take on the winner of that game tomorrow in the conference championship. If you're Metro State, you're playing for your season here. You must win the conference championship in order to even have a chance to play in the regionals and compete for a national championship. If you're DU, if you don't come through in the final 20 minutes, it's going to be a nervy couple of days to find out what your fate will be. Right now, they sit 15th in the West region. Top 16 teams go to the regional finals. However, there are a couple of conferences within the West region where if you win that conference championship, you are automatically going to the regionals. That is not the case here for the Big Mountain Hockey Conference with only 5 member teams playing this season. This league will go to 7 teams next year when they reintroduce Northern Colorado back to the league, as well as the University of New Mexico. So DU needs to find a way to win this game to keep their season alive. Same thing goes for the Roadrunners. Pioneers will be on the man advantage for 22 seconds to begin the third period. So Brandhorst still in the box as the players come out just to do a couple of warm-up laps here before we begin the third period. And the physicality, which has really ratcheted up over the last 20 minutes. You gotta believe with so much on the line for both these teams, we're gonna see some excitement, some energy, some probably some late whistle activity between both these two teams. Packed house here at the Epic Ice Arena in Fort Collins. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, we couldn't find any ice in Denver, so we took things north to Fort Collins. And the Metro State fans have showed up in big numbers here, and they are making themselves heard. Just about set to go for the third period here. Pioneers, Roadrunners, winner goes to Westminster. Be where your feet at. It's the Big Mountain Hockey Conference semifinals, and we're about to determine who's going to the championship first. Will it be the Pioneers? Will it be the Roadrunners? We'll find out together as we're underway here in the third period. Puck played by Piper. Sent back into the DU zone. This is going to be an icing here. Actually, check that icing has been waved off by the far side official. So we'll keep playing. Played up ahead of the neutral zone, taken by Kaufman. Kaufman walks in, fires a shot, nearly stunning Loeffler there, who was really solid in the second period. Taken in by Gardner, the hero in the game, back on January 24th. Played into the neutral zone, taken by Tillinghast. Tillinghast walks in, he avoids a big hit there by Gardner, but he's not able to avoid the second one by Kaufman. Puck now taken by Van Arm. He'll play it high into the air, sent back into the Metro State zone. It's a foot race for the icing. That Piper will win. So we're back to 5-on-5 hockey here. 19:09 remaining in the third period. Face-off coming to the right side of Carlitz. TJ McLeod, the goal scorer for Metro State, digging in to take the draw against Willem Van Arm. Van Arm will give way to Marcus Kaufman. Face-off won by the Roadrunners. There's a shot from the point, takes a deflection off the skates of Anand. Back behind the net. Tillinghast has it. He's driven hard into the boards by Vena. Now it's played by Van Arm. Unable to get the puck out of the zone. Kept in there by Metro State. Back behind the net for Tillinghast. Shovels it over to McLeod. Back to the blue line. DeFoyo sends it back behind the net. Now it's taken again by Tillinghast. Back to DeFoyo. Fires a wrist shot. Easy save there by Carlitz, who does well to not give up the rebound. Shots on goal so far through 2 periods in 1 minute and 20 seconds. 27 for the Pioneers, 21 for the Roadrunners. Assistant coach Chance Botcher for DU stressed in the early goings in this one how important it was to create quality scoring chances, and DU's done well there. They just haven't been able to beat Leffler. Our side for Brophy. He's held up there by Kuzminski. Kept in by DU. There's a shot on goal, redirected wide of the net. Kept in by Young. He fires a shot, bouncing puck in the slot. Finally settled down by DU. It comes free to Mirovic. Plays it in front of the net, still a loose puck. And now it finally comes free and is taken by Cash. Slides into the center. Taken by Peterson, over for Cliff, fires a shot, bouncing puck. And Carlitz will cover things up, and Griffin Young taking some exception to the extracurricular opportunity there by Jensen. So we'll calm things down here with 18:03 remaining in the third period. The officials getting in between the players, making sure nothing else going on. And the faceoff will come to the left side of Carlitz. Draw won by the Pioneers. Young sends it around the boards, looking up ahead for Seebeck. Seebeck's got it, will look to play it towards the middle. Taken here by Bazin. Bazin walks in, fires a shot, bouncing puck in front of the net, and finally cleared back into the corner by Metro State. Waldorf. Taken by Moen. Sent back in. And now Waldorf has it again. Plays it back into the DU zone, taken by Griffin Young. Near side boards, Patrick plays it up ahead for Bazin. Bazin driven into the boards there by Piper. Drops it off for Patrick behind the net. Patrick turns, fires, bouncing puck in the air, and now will be settled back down by Blake Bazin. Bazin plays it back for Seebeck. Seebeck's got it, plays it back to the blue line, and just too far there for Vena. So the puck goes all the way back into the the DU zone, and we're gonna have a penalty upcoming here against DU. Who are they gonna get here? It's gonna be Blake Bazin who goes to the box, and he's gonna serve a minor penalty. I'm not entirely sure what they're gonna call here. I believe it's gonna be interference. So face-off coming here for the Roadrunners. One back to Tillinghast at the blue line. Over for McLeod, fires a shot, takes a deflection, and redirects high out of play. Off of the leg there of Griffin Young. Little hobbled there. But he seems to be all right as the face-off remains to the right side of Carlitz. McLeod versus Kincaid. And sent back into the Metro State end here by DU. Triplett will chase after it. Laughlin plays it for Clift. He'll leave it for Tillinghast. Tillinghast can't settle the bouncing puck. Now we'll play it up ahead for Clift. Clift walks in, will dump the puck in around the net. McLeod there against Young. McLeod wins it back to Piper. Piper plays it behind the net, slides it over for Brandhorst. Plays it for McLeod. McLeod cycles it back for Piper. Back to McLeod. Blue line. Tillinghast fires a shot. Misses the net wide. Back behind the net for Piper. He'll play it over for McLeod. McLeod, Piper, turning shot. Puck still loose in front of the net, and now Karlitz will cover it up. 1:05 remaining now in the man advantage, and the penalty assessed to Bazin. So for the third time on this man advantage faceoff coming to the right side of Karlitz. Faceoff won by DU. Played into the neutral zone by Seebeck. Seebeck trying to work against Ethan Rose. He'll throw on the brakes, doing a good job of killing off some of this time here. He's going 1-on-4 against Roadrunners, and now finally Metro State can break out. Young fires it off the boards. Young working against a couple of Metro State players. Body's going down to the ice here. It comes loose to Tillinghast, trying to throw on the brakes, kept in there by Peterson. Near side for Rose. Plays it towards the slot. Sent back to the blue line. Kept in by Tillinghast. Slides it over, and here's a potential opportunity. Shorthanded for DU. Seebeck in on goal. Fires a shot. Just missed the net there. Brandhorst plays it back for Tillinghast. Tillinghast walks in, trying to work his way around Moen. Moen wins that battle, and we're back to 5-on-5 action here with 15 minutes to go in the third period. Score all tied. Puck played by a high stick goes back into the Metro State end. Van Arm, the first one on the puck. Avoids a couple of hits there by Metro State, and now it's taken here by Jensen. Jensen plays it in the middle for Clift. And there's going to be an offsides here, as getting a little too eager there was Cooper Peterson. So the faceoff will come back outside the zone. Sell, buy, trade, and win. You may never outgrow your favorite sports, but you may outgrow your equipment. Your locally owned Play It Again Sports provides an easy way to sell your quality used sports and fitness gear. To find where your nearest Play It Again Sports is, visit their website at playitagainsports.com/locations. Anand chips it forward for Van Arm. He has to work against Piper. Piper plays it around the net. Kept in by Simon. In the slot for Van Arm. Taken by Clift, who has it again. He's got Piper with him. Drops it off. Piper whiffs on the shot. Turned back over for DU, but sent back into the neutral zone where it's played by Metro State. Simon's got it. Slides it over for Anand. Plays it in the slot for Simon. Simon checked from behind there by Piper. Loose puck. Big hit laid there by Van Arm on Clift. And there's a big hit laid there by Piper. And we're going to have a penalty upcoming here against Metro State. Simon is down on the ice and in a lot of pain here, as a dangerous hit thrown there by Piper, who's going to go to the box here to serve a penalty. As to the duration of the penalty, that is yet to be determined. Simon really slow getting up to his feet here. As the trainer makes her way out onto the ice now to assist Ryan Simon. Apologies, the penalty was not against Piper. I believe the penalty is going against number 7, Hank Cash. So he's in the box right now. The officials are discussing what the length of that penalty is going to be. I believe this should just be a minor penalty. But the officials will gather here to discuss it. While they're taking time to discuss it, ordering jerseys used to be a nightmare, not anymore. Custom fit, pro quality, delivered in 4 weeks or less. If you've ever dealt with late orders, cheap material, or gear that looked nothing like the mock-up, you probably didn't use thread to needle for your custom hockey jersey needs. To find out how they can help you and your team look as cool on the ice as you do off the ice, visit our website at threadtoneedle.com. So Cash in the box right now. The officials discussing what's going to happen here Ryan Simon has made his way back into the DU locker room. And I believe there's a good chance this might be a 5-minute major against Metro State. But just to reset things here, 13:55 remaining in the third period, 1 goal apiece by each of these teams. Ian Mirovic in the first period gave DU a 1-0 lead, and then it was TJ McLeod, the captain for this Roadrunners side, who tied things up in the second period. And that's where we find ourselves here, 1-1, 13:55 remaining in the third period. Winner goes to the conference championship game. Metro State looking to repeat here. So the players will slowly make their way back into the Metro State zone, and the worst fears for the Roadrunners has been realized here, as it's going to be a 5-minute major assessed to Cache. So a major penalty. The Pioneers will be on the power play for 5 minutes, regardless of how many goals or if they score any goals on this power play. So this will have to be a penalty kill for the ages here by this Roadrunners team. Tied game, 13:50 remaining. Pioneers on a man advantage here for 5 minutes. Bjorndal. Puck behind the net, taken by Colson Bazin. Slides it back for Bjorndal. Back to Moen at the point. Bazin. Quick shot. Saved by Loeffler. Plays it up ahead. Here's Matthew Clift. Can you believe this? Clift in on goal. Scores! Matthew Clift has given the Roadrunners the lead. A short-handed goal for MSU. Really incredible play design there by MSU. Clift cherry picking a little bit at the top of the blue line. The puck came free. He did the rest. He beat Karlitz on the pad side with a beautiful backhand. So just 29 seconds into the major penalty to Cache, it's the Roadrunners who cash in. We're underway here again. Gardner to Patrick. Up ahead for Seebeck. Seebeck around the net. Plays it back to the blue line for Kaufman. Comes back to Gardner. Gardner walks in, fires a shot, takes a deflection, bouncing puck in front of the net. And now will be cleared back into the neutral zone by MSU. One minute gone so far in the major penalty assessed to Hank Cache. Taken in by Gardner. Hounded by Piper. Gardner plays it back to Kaufman. Kaufman back to the blue line for Bazin. Bazin, far circle. Rink wide pass, takes a deflection out of play by Nolan Patrick, so I believe the faceoff will come back out of the zone. Correction, faceoff will remain back in the Metro State end with 12:33 remaining, 3:39 remaining on the major penalty. Long Building Technologies engineers, secures services, and automate systems in commercial buildings. To find ways how Long Building Technologies can assist you and your business, visit their website at long.com. Puck comes back to Moen. Bringing it in along the far side. He's ridden hard into the boards there by McLeod. Comes loose to Moen. Works his way in front of the net. Fires it off the side of the cage. Bouncing puck finally settled back by DU. Bjorndal behind the net. Slides it back to Mirovic. Walks the blue line, plays it back for Bazin. Bazin top of the circle, fires a shot just over the head of Moen. Moen's got it now, far circle. Slides it back behind the net. Back to Moen. Top of the blue line for Mirovic. Fires a wrist shot, takes a deflection once again over the net. Comes back to Moen. Moen cycles it back to Mirovic. Back to Moen, walks in, fires a shot, just hit the post, bouncing puck behind the net. Loeffler doesn't see it, and now a couple of players go crashing down to the ice here. Great scoring opportunity there for DU, but talk about the play of Loeffler. Face-off coming outside of the zone now. And you wonder here if there's going to be another penalty assessed to Metro State. One of the officials on the ice is getting a little whistle happy here with some of these penalties. But as it stands, faceoff will come back outside the zone. 11:37 remaining in the third period. 2:43 remaining in the major penalty assessed to Hank Cash. The only thing that's happened on this major penalty was the goal by Clift to give MSU the lead. Gardner fires it back in for DU. Loeffler behind the net, plays it around the net and sends it all the way back into the Pioneer zone. It's Gardner. Bazin. Chopped at there by Brandhorst. Played around the net for Seebeck. Seebeck fires a shot hitting the post there, as Peterson will turn and fire it back down into the DU zone. So here come the Pioneers with just 2 minutes remaining on the penalty. Patrick brings the puck into the zone. Fires one in front of the net. Easy save there by Loeffler. Kept in by Gardner. Gardner, far side for Seebeck, can't get the shot off. Seebeck, back to Gardner, he scores! Jack Gardner ties it up for DU with 10:33 to go. What an incredible pass by Seebeck. And Gardner, with all the time in the world, did what he needed to do and what he's done in the late goings of this season, scoring clutch goals as he's tied things up here for DU with 10:33 to go. And the Pioneers will remain on the man advantage for another minute and 38 seconds. Face-off won by the Pioneers. Van Arm has it again in his own zone. Far side for Bjorndal. Bjorndal brings the puck into the zone. Here comes Cody Bjorndal in on goal. Good stick there by Loeffler. Kept in by Mirovic. Mirovic slides it back over for Van Arm. Van Arm back to the blue line. Shot by Moen. Saved there by Loeffler. Mirovic back to the blue line for Moen. Slides it over for Mirovic. Walks in, fires the shot, takes a deflection high and over the net. Puck comes free. Back to Colston Bazin. Bazin, Van Arm, slap shot, whiffs on it, comes back to Clift. Clift will play it back in. Karlitz will redirect it into the corner. Good job here by this Metro State penalty killing unit. 45 seconds remaining on the major penalty assessed to Cash. 1 goal apiece by both of these teams on this major penalty. Taken in by Van Arm. Far side circle. Drops it off for Bjorndal. Looking to play it back for Seebeck, and that pass just too far behind him, so it'll go back into the DU zone. 25 seconds remaining. Van Arm whiffing on the pass. Drops it back for Moen. Plays it up for Bjorndal. Chips it for Seebeck. Seebeck walks in, fires a shot, takes a deflection, far side corner. Puck will be played back out to the neutral zone, under 10 seconds remaining. Here comes Gardner. Gardner walking in. Spinning pass, back to Seebeck. Seebeck fires a shot, takes a deflection, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey here. Puck thrown in front of the net, comes loose at Gardner, fires another shot. Saved there by Loeffler. Gardner bouncing puck in front of the net, now it's taken by Tillinghast. Good job there by Seebeck to slow down the offensive attack. Sent back into the DU zone. Young there. Over to Triplett. Back around the net. And now will be chased down by Piper. Here goes Piper. In on goal, puts a shot just wide of the net. Good job there by Chris Brophy to get the puck all the way back down into the Metro State end. 8 minutes remaining here in this tied third period. Rowan Anand's got it. Near side boards for Bazin. Bazin trying to work his way around the Metro State defense, unsuccessful there. Kept into the blue line by Ben. He does a good job to redirect it back in. But the far side official had his hand up. Taken along the near side boards by Metro State. Here comes Jensen trying to work his way out in front of the goal. Sends it back to the blue line. There's a shot that sails high over the net. Takes a deflection. Now it comes free for Vena. Vena looking to play it up ahead for Patrick. Patrick's going to negate the icing here. Patrick spinning pass in front of the net. Comes free to Bazin. Back to Vena at the blue line. Vena fires a shot, takes a deflection in front of the net there by Gorsuch, who will send it back into the neutral zone. Moen working against Clift. Plays it along the boards. Now it's taken by Seebeck. Seebeck will turn and fire it back into the Metro State zone. No icing there. Here come the Roadrunners again. Puck sent around the net. Played back to the blue line. Delayed offsides here, so Metro State will have to leave the zone. Taken by Moen. Plays it up. Chip back into the Metro State zone by Anand. Loeffler will play it around the net. Van Arm the first one there. 3 Roadrunners and Van Arm. Taken by Tafoya. Looking to play it up ahead. Here's Peterson, and on goal, fires a shot. Takes a deflection high and out of play. Or at least I thought it was out of play. Puck remains in play here. There's a big hit laid by Griffin Young. Sent back into the neutral zone. Now DU will go off for a change. Taken by Piper. Slides it over for Kuzminski. Taken by Rose. Turned back over. Bjorndal's got it. He's got Brophy in the middle. Brophy can't hang on to the pass. Now it's a race to the puck in the corner and won by Mirovic. Back to Gardner. Slides it over for Young. In the middle for Mirovic. Turned back over to Metro State. Tristan McLeod's got a lot of speed along the near side boards, but the pass doesn't go to him. So it's taken by Gardner behind the net. Rings it around. Kept in by Tillinghast. Drops it back. Looking Tillinghast far side. Puck in his skates. He's driven hard into the boards there by Mirovic. No penalty on the play. Taken by Bjorndal. He's running too hard in the boards there by 16 for Metro State. Metro State's got it. There's a big hit laid there by Chris Brophy. The hit's starting to come in bunches in this contest. Tillinghast nearly lined up there by Brophy. Sent around the net. Bouncing puck in the slot. It's still loose. And now it comes free to Vena. Vena, he's getting sized up there by McLeod. Sent back in by Gorsuch. Around the net. Vena's got it. Chips it up the wall to Seebeck. Gorsuch will play it back into the DU zone. High over the net. 4:23 remaining here in this tied third period. Puck comes back here to Bazin. Bazin walks in the zone, fires a shot. Easy save there by Loeffler. Tafoya kicks at it. Comes back to the blue line, kept in by Moen. Moen, he's cross-checked into the boards there. Taken by Seebeck. Seebeck slides it over for Patrick. He's chopped down in the slot. No call there. There's a shot by Gardner and a toe save by Loeffler. My word, of all the calls we've seen in this contest, I'm surprised neither of those last two were called. Played up ahead, taken again by Bazin. Bazin working against Kuzminski. There's a big hit laid there in the slot, right in front of the officials, and we're going to have a call here. This one's going to go against Piper. And Brendan Piper's going to go to the box with 3:34 remaining in the third period. And the Metro State fans are letting the Stripes have it. Great action there in those last 6 minutes, it was end-to-end action both ways. We didn't have a single whistle for the last 6 minutes. Now Clift wants an explanation from the officials as DU calls a timeout here with 3:34 remaining in the third period. They will be on the man advantage here. A goal to potentially send them to Westminster in the conference championship game tomorrow. Metro State has shown a ton of heart in this game. We were speaking actually in between the periods. I don't think this crew has witnessed the physicality, the speed, and the skill in this conference that we've seen in this game. You can tell how much both these teams want it. As you see head coach Hunter Scott giving some last-minute instructions here to the DU team. So the face-off will be coming to the right side of Loeffler. Power play unit out there for DU. Bjorndal, Colston, Bazin, and Mirovic. At the blue line, Van Arm and Moen. Can Metro State kill off another man advantage here? Comes back to Van Arm, slides it over for Moen, walks in, fires a shot just wide of the net. And we'll cover things up here with 3:28 remaining in the third, 1:55 remaining in the man advantage. We talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast. DU's record when scoring 4 or less than 4 goals on the season, just 3-13. That record jumps up to 11-1 when they score more than 4. Face-off won by the Pioneers, but too far for Van Arm, so he'll retreat into the neutral zone. Van Arm spins with it, being hounded there by McLeod. Comes free to Bjorndal. Near side boards for Mirovic. Walking in, top of the circle, fires the wrist shot, saved by Loeffler. Loose puck in front of the net. Comes back to Moen. Slides it over for Van Arm. Wrist shot. Another save by Loeffler. Glove down by Van Arm, and another shot that just goes wide. Mirovic has it now. Behind the net for Bjorndal. Bjorndal near side boards for Van Arm. Back around the net, so chipping in will be Moen. Moen's got it, plays it back behind the net for Bjorndal. Nobody in the slot, Bjorndal looking, surveying, slides it over for Mirovic. Played along the far side, kept in by Moen. Moen fires a wrist shot from the point, easy glove save there by Loeffler, who will slow things down here. 2:32 remaining in the third period, 58 seconds remaining on the man advantage for DU. Face-off coming up here to the left side of Loeffler. And it looks like Blake Bazin will take the face-off here for DU. Out there with Henry Seebeck and Nolan Patrick. Face-off won by the Roadrunners. Bazin plays it back to the blue line for Gardner. Gardner walks in, slides it over. Here's a shot by Kaufman. That's saved there by Loeffler. Bouncing puck behind the net. Finally sent back out, but a good play there by Gardner to only keep it at the red line. So Gardner will fire it in. He takes a shoulder there by Gorsuch. Far side corner, Blake Bazin wins the race behind the net for Kaufman. Kaufman slides it back to the blue line for Gardner. Gardner back to Kaufman. Kaufman playing it towards the slot. Spinning shot by Bazin, scores! Blake Bazin has given the Pioneers the lead with 1:57 to go! Top corner, glove side for 18 in pink, and the Pios lead it. So 2 unanswered goals by DU, both with man advantages here in the third period. Metro crowd trying to get their boys back into the game. They have 2 minutes to try to tie this thing up. Here we go, face-off won by the Pioneers, taken by Vena. He'll fire it back into the Metro State zone. First one on the puck there is Metro State. Slid around for Piper. Gloves it down, plays it to himself, no hand pass there. Piper walks into the zone, trying to make a couple of Pioneers miss. Puck played high into the air behind the net. Now DU can clear. Vena plays it back into the Metro State zone, and there will be an icing with 1:27 to go here. And I believe Metro State's going to use their timeout here. So we'll have a stoppage of play here with 1 minute and 27 seconds remaining. So let's just reset things here with 1 minute and 27 seconds to go here in the third period. We came into this third frame tied 1-1. A short-handed goal by Matthew Clift gave Metro State the lead. It was a short-lived lead, however, because on the man advantage, DU was able to tie it up with a goal by Jack Gardner. And then just over a minute, or just under a minute ago, it was Blake Bazin who scored the third goal of the game for the Pioneers to give the Pios a 3-2 lead. You may notice DU's wearing these pink jerseys today. That is in support of number 18, Blake Bazin, who is cancer-free as of just a couple of weeks ago for the Pioneers. Bazin had an assist in the Gardner game-winning goal just 2 weeks ago. He has the game-leading goal right now with 1:27 to go. Offensive zone face-off here for the Roadrunners. One back to Tillinghast. Slid over for Clift. Wrist shot deflected behind the net. They battle away for their puck in the far side corner. It's taken by Piper. Plays it back to McLeod. Slides it over for Tillinghast. Walks in, fires a wrist shot, takes a couple of deflections back to McLeod, and it gets all the way through. Carlitz with a good save. Piper plays it back to the blue line. 6 attackers out there for Metro State. Tillinghast, Clift, back to Tillinghast. Wrist shot just wide. Comes in, McLeod fires a shot. Good block there by DU. Puck still loose in front of the net. It comes free for McLeod. Back to Tillinghast. Tillinghast walks in, fires a shot, takes a deflection. There's a great block by Mirovic. Back to the blue line, 40 seconds remaining. McLeod over to Tillinghast for Clift. Wrist shot, saved again by Carlitz. Kept in by McLeod, far side corner. Blue line for Tillinghast. Clift, top of the circle, walks in, fires a shot. Great stick save there by Carlitz. Puck sent back all the way around, back into the Metro State end. Icing is waved off here, 15 seconds remaining in this contest. Taken by Brandhorst. Turned back over, 10 seconds remaining. DU fires it back into the Metro State zone, and we're gonna have an icing here and a stoppage of play with 4.1 seconds to go. Unbelievable play there by Jackson Carlitz. And an even better job done by the DU defenseman getting in front of the shooting lanes. So the face-off with 4.1 seconds coming to the right side of Carlitz. McLeod digs in to take the draw. Face-off one, Metro State. There's a shot by Tillinghast that goes wide. 1 second remaining, and that's gonna do it. Pioneers win. They beat Metro State, and they'll play for a conference championship tomorrow in Westminster against the winner of Colorado and Wyoming. What an incredible third period by both these teams. Unbelievable effort by both of these squads. It was Metro State who took the lead early on in the third, and it was DU who scored 2 unanswered to win the game, and they will play for a conference championship tomorrow. What an unbelievable game that you and we and everybody in this building just watched. Final score from Fort Collins. It's the Pioneers 3. It's the Roadrunners 2. That's going to do it for us here in the broadcast booth. So many people to thank here at Price Productions. My name is Ben Canvasser for the Big Mountain Hockey Conference. So long. And this crew, we will see you tomorrow from the Promenade.